On everybody, it's Young Man. Today is April 2nd, 2026. Today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin, strategy, and MetaPlanet. These are the three things that we've been talking about and the three things we are going to continue to talk about. So today, what I'm going to be discussing is why Bitcoin was made for times like these. Today, I'm going to talk about what's going on right now in the world. I'm not going to be talking about everything that's going on in the world, but I'm going to be talking about something that's on a lot of people's minds, something that is on the market's minds, something that is a pressing matter at this moment in time, which is the escalation of the war in the Middle East. And this is, in a way, this has been an issue for all of my lifetime, but especially right now, it's mainstream and it's at the top of the list of um, things people are concerned about and things that the market is concerned about. And today I have my red, white, and blue shirt on because I'm a proud American. I'm coming at you guys from America and I support the country that I'm from. I do not support the war machine and the Ponzi scheme and the debasement of my time and energy to bomb innocent people. That is not something I support, but I believe that you're able to support this nation and not support a lot of the involvement that they have in these atrocities. I think that you're able to do both at the same time. It takes a bit of sophistication to do it, but I believe that that is possible. So I'll start with saying that. But today, I want to try to mostly keep the discussion about Bitcoin, but I'm going to go into the weeds a little bit about what seems to be going on, the way that I understand it, at least with the limited information everybody has. But I would sum up the feeling that I have about it, by saying it feels a lot like the February before the COVID pandemic. It feels a lot like that. I think the times right now, looking back, we will think of these times in a similar way that we thought about those times because there's a lot of lying going on. There's a lot of confusion. There's mass confusion globally. And everybody kind of feels that something might be coming, an issue might be coming, but nobody knows what it is. Nobody knows what the time period will look like, how long things will take to play out or how short things will. And a lot of people look to the government and they look to the media to tell them the answers to these questions. And it seems that they're lying. It seems like whatever's actually going on, we don't know as the civilian. We don't know. And that's troubling. I think if that was the case, that I have no clue what's going on, and I have no clue what the significance of the things that I hear are, I would want to think about how do I secure myself. It's very important to become secure, um, and protected. So you would want to think about where your money should be. I believe that our money should be in sound money. I believe Bitcoin is the best form of sound money. I also think gold and silver are a good investment. Of course, I'm not a financial advisor, but I think that things that are based around scarcity are where you would want to allocate any money that you have because everything that's not based on scarcity is threatened right now because we don't know what we have in terms of rare earths, in terms of the ability to create chips, in terms of a lot of the things that markets have calculated and embedded within them in the way that they assign a value to something. A lot of those assumptions, I don't think we can make them in times like these. So, investing in equities, you stand a lot. or you have a lot to lose because these are things that are valued under the assumption that the world will continue to move forward as the way that it has. And I don't think that that's a good assumption to make right now. Just to briefly go over what is happening and why it seems to be so troubling, the Strait of Hormuz is closed to the West, to America and its allies. They are not getting oil from it. It's not necessarily closed that in terms of for everyone, there are plenty of entities that are able to access oil, but places like Europe and Southeast Asia cannot. And that's a huge problem. And we're going to start seeing shortages of everything because a shortage in energy becomes a shortage in everything. And what that's going to do to the American is they're going to start selling off the things that they don't need very badly today for the things that they need very badly today, which would be food and energy. They're going to start selling off US Treasury bonds, US equities. Everything that is not going to help them survive in the short term, they don't need anymore. And the the system in America is propped up by foreign investment. It's not going to, it's likely not going to end up well. Even if you believe that America is so strong and they can overcome anything, maybe that's true. But looking at the landscape right now, it's very concerning. And this is a bleak picture that I'm painting, but as you know, if you've watched my videos, there is hope and there is a way to protect ourselves. I believe that that is Bitcoin. I believe that we can put our time and our energy into something that cannot be debased and cannot collapse with the rest of the global structure that will collapse because it exists outside of it and because it's founded on proof of work and scarcity and being an open system that is not in one place in physical space and it has no central authority. Things are being centrally planned, things are being manipulated. And I believe that it's in our best interest to try to put ourselves within systems that are more or less safe from that. And I believe that's where Bitcoin comes in. I think if I had to make a prediction about what will happen with markets as a result of this conflict, if this conflict goes on for months, more than 2 months, more than 3 months, which it likely will, I would predict that everything gets slaughtered. I think you're not going to be preserving your purchasing power if you're sitting in uh, traditional investments that always have worked, like owning the market as a whole or owning tech. I don't think that is a sure thing anymore. And I don't think bonds are a sure thing either. They definitely are not. I'm not saying that Bitcoin's a sure thing, but on a long enough time horizon, Bitcoin is essentially a measure of liquidity. And if the liquidity dries up, yeah, Bitcoin will probably get smacked. It'll probably dip even further than we thought it would. But the liquidity will come back because if there's one thing that we know, the central banks are going to print money. We know that. No matter what happens, they print. A crisis happens, they print money to get themselves out of it. That will bring the liquidity back and that will make Bitcoin melt our faces. I think we have an insane opportunity right now to get our hands on Bitcoin because it could 5x in a week. And I might be being hyperbolic, but the fundamentals of it lead me to believe that if they start actually printing, like wartime printing, if they like anything like what happened after the pandemic, which I think is necessary. I think it might be more than that. Bitcoin's going to rip. It's going to make a lot of millionaires. And I think in a time of struggle, in a time where a lot of people are having their wealth eradicated, it's not just that we want to be enriched, it's that we need to protect ourselves. So that would be my case for Bitcoin going into uncertain times. I also think it might be wise to have some cash as well, because if we do dip, I'll be buying. That's all I'm going to say today because I don't want to go on too long. But thanks for watching. If you did, thanks for subscribing to everyone that subscribed. And the last thing I'll say is that I am long-term bullish for society and for the fate of humanity. Long-term bullish. No matter what happens in the short term, I think we're going to trend upwards, up and to the right. So thank you.